Why do I keep talking about a game-changing player? We just had a conversation about the Miami Dolphins. Somebody asked a question about, would I be willing to trade a bunch of picks to win a Super Bowl and then be in a rebuild for like the next couple years or something like that? And I said no, but I still believe that something needs to happen. And the perfect example is the Miami Dolphins. They've had monster first-round picks. They had 3 in 2020. I think it was 2020, starting with Tua. They had like the 5th pick, the 11th pick. No, it was 5, 18, and something else. And then the year after that, they had 2 more first-round picks. We've had 2 first-round picks for 2 years in a row, right? So what did they do to finally take them over the top? They could never get there. I remember one year, the Miami Dolphins they went on a 7-game streak to win, but because they're in the AFC, they had a winning record, I want to say, and missed out on the playoffs. They make a move for explosive Tyreek Hill. Now they got the fastest offense in the league, okay? They took a chance. They made a move that made a difference, and that's what I feel like our team needs to do. Tyreek is the reason Miami is 5-1. I don't think there's a true game changer you can get at the trade deadline, though. Okay, it depends for me where you're looking at. Where you looking at? Game changer at the trade deadline. Okay, so I'm going to put it back on you. Y'all know who I want, and I'm going to be honest. I backed off the receiver train. If I looked at it yesterday and I saw Mike Evans was really it. He was the last guy as far as wide receiver that I was like, you know what? We could get him. But you know what I would have done? If I'm Brad Holmes, if I'm not going to make a move for Mike Evans, and I mean, we still don't know. He could. Mike Evans has still changed his team. But what I saw yesterday, I don't know if he didn't want to be there. He was coming back from injury. He just didn't look himself yesterday, right? So I'm thinking about it. And I'm wondering, I would have taken Van Jefferson. Give me Van Jefferson, and I'll trade for a defensive end at the trade deadline. So I'm going to back off a receiver. I still think we need depth. Maybe we can bring Chase Cota from the Chief Practice Squad. I don't know how that works, seeing as how he went over there. But is there a true game changer that the Detroit Lions could get at the trade deadline? I seem to think it is, but I don't know. Now, I talked about Jerry Jeudy, and that didn't go over too well. Cortland Sutton, I would say no. He don't seem like he got it either. So I don't know. But if I had to choose between wide receiver and defensive end, I'm going to pick a defensive end because as we brought up the Miami Dolphins at the beginning, okay, we don't have the personnel to hang with them. Not a lot of teams do. And as you can see yesterday, the Detroit Lions in the Tampa Bay game were playing zone a lot because they don't have the coverage. You cannot trust Jerry Jacobs to guard Chris Godwin. He's not a great cover corner, right? So he got away with some things, made some plays. He's a great tackler. So we would have to play in zone a lot against that team. We also were missing Brian Branch, and I'm sure he would have loved to lay the wood on somebody. Depends on the position. I can't think of any besides the one we talked about. We have the right guys in the locker room, like Coach Campbell said. I don't think we need a wide receiver. DE all day, wide receiver, we are fine. Robert says win now. Mike Evans is still hurt. He was more of a decoy yesterday. That could be. Yeah, he had a rough game. Dropped a couple passes. He looked like he was frustrated yesterday. So here's my thing. Why do I keep pressing a trade? Because sometimes you can't be afraid. And I'm not saying, in Miami, if you look at Miami, they were sellers a ton. They didn't really buy. They just sold, and then whammo, they bought Tyreek Hill, and look at them now. That's what I want from my team. They're not struggling. They haven't regressed in draft capital. They're still the same. They're getting better. They drafted Jalen Waddle. I mean, they're doing their thing. We can do the same thing. So I would love to see the Detroit Lions make a move. I mean, we have free agency coming up. The problem with a lot of the names that I'm mentioning are the fact that they're on expiring contracts. So you're talking about wrapping up a deal before the trade even goes through, giving him an extension with the trade. And I don't know how possible that is, but let me know your thoughts.